Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today is Tuesday, January 17th, and this will be lecture 3. That is correct. This is lecture 3. YouTube should be coming up. I should be able to hear myself, make sure the audio is right. I'm wearing a different type of headphones, those like open ear shocks. Yep, they are good. Just always wonder what it will sound like with these headphones, but these are my running headphones. I don't have any other headphones today, so this will do. I see the screen. I heard myself, which means don't have to worry about re-recording this. There's people on the chat, so thank you guys for joining. Most of you are very eager to have some answers. So let's break this down into a quick agenda. So let's keep this organized. That way, if you're watching this video, you can probably just understand what we're trying to do. A, let's talk about the quiz. B, let's talk about the VMs. And C, let's talk about the submission. Plain and simple. 3 things. Those are the 3 most important things we need to talk about today. So let's go. Number 1, the quiz. There are multiple ways to set up the quizzes in Canvas. I'm not an expert, but every time I ask the online team to help me, this tool is very complex and do a lot of things. I sometimes try to get creative and have my questions randomized. Sometimes I do like a pool of questions, and yeah, that didn't work. I was supposed to update 3 quizzes for 3 different classes with a new pool of questions. Well, that did not work. Some of you I've had seen this semester. I have more students than I've ever had because I have 3 classes. I have obviously percentage-wise, there's 19 of you, there's 19 of us, including myself, in this video today. Usually there's like 4 people watching the video, and that's it. But percentage-wise, more people means more audience, more people means more people that may have DRC requirements, right? And those special, I like to, just honor their extra time. And I didn't want to break the quiz because there was a glitch, so I didn't want to break the quiz. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to redo the quiz completely. It's going to get destroyed, and we're going to rebuild it next weekend. Right? So that's basically item 1. If you answered it, that's perfect. You may have seen a question that may come up, which is fine. Some questions are going to be completely different, so that's okay. If you want to take the quiz still, just for fun, I mean, again, the word fun is included there, right? So just for fun, do it. But so far, the grade that you got means nothing. We're going to redo it, but mostly I want to make sure that it is configured correctly for those with extra time included. I muted everybody as they come in, and just to make sure no noise was coming in. But any questions up to this point? If you're trying to join in late, we're still debating. No, we're still going over quiz 1. The idea, again, a lot of quizzes just to kind of keep track of how we're doing for you, for me, make sure I'm not slacking, make sure that you're not slacking. Also make sure that we cover some sample questions that may be on the exam, including things like the syllabus, right? Syllabus, which is another topic that we should add to today's agenda. Anything else up to this point that we need to address? There's somebody with their hand raised. Do you want to ask?
Yes, thank you, Professor. So you mentioned in the last lecture that the submit button for the assignment 1 still wasn't ready. Are we good to go now, or can we, after our lecture today, can we submit?
Yes, that part 3 of today's agenda. We're still on the quiz, part 3.
Okay.
So let's hold on to that one in just a minute, right? So that piece is there. I still have no clue why the syllabus is still not working. I promised you, I changed them. I mean, this thing, I click here, I've been here. This thing loads up, it shows me the syllabus eventually. I know it doesn't work great on Safari. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I should not use Safari, which, by the way, I want to address. Somebody messaged me saying that they can't join Teams because they doesn't work on their browser. I know Teams, if you're using the web version, Teams does not work on Safari, by the way. You have to use like Chrome or Firefox or Windows. If you like Windows, it works great on the Windows environment, but it just doesn't work great on Safari. As you can tell, Safari doesn't really like a couple of things. Like, here you go, the syllabus, right? I know I edited the syllabus, so I'm still going to try to publish it. But if you've seen the other syllabuses, they're all basically the same. So trust me on this. 12 quizzes, 2 exams, 5 assignments. Every class has the exact same thing. They all have it. The requirements are slightly different. I mean, the objectives are slightly different for each class, but I mean, core, everything is the same. All the way to the dates, because I know that that's important, right? As a professor, those are important for me in case I have deadlines, like I need to travel or whatever. And now this is not even loading, but what's going on here? See the beautiful thing of live demos, right? Okay, cool. Not working. But I did update this link. So on the home tab, on the syllabus link, they should have opened website constructions. Yeah, so this is the syllabus for website construction, all the way down, and all the dates should be there. Let's pull up just to triple check. I know if you're watching this, you can probably be like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Skip, because you have the syllabus. Maybe you already figured out this is the syllabus for Unix system administration. Same thing. This has a book. Website construction does not have a book, but the dates are important, right? Exam 1 is there, exam 2 is there. We're going to try to finish earlier, like the week before our finals, just to give everybody a breather. But we're going to have a project anyways due, and there's an extra credit. Just because I know that this always happens, the extra credit Canvas is weird. If you want to give 4 points, 3 points, 10 points extra credit, it's 100% of your total. So if the extra credit is 10 points, I will give you 10 points out of 100 because your grade is worth 100. Crazy math. I don't know it. Somebody explain it to me. It still doesn't make any sense, but it's not that you're going to hit 100%. It's just some weird thing. The extra credit is maximum going to be 5 points, but I'm going to explain this to you regardless. You're going to ask me 5 weeks from now, so whatever. Trust me, all the syllabuses are there. I still have no idea why. I don't know if it works for me, but it doesn't load for you. I still have no clue if that's still the case. Look, this is the one for database administration. So I'm just showing you this on video. So it's just there's a record that I'm doing my part on fixing it. I'm trying to fix it, but I just don't know if the saving. See, I hit save many times. It should say on Microsoft Teams, no longer Google Hangout, whatever. And this should have been fixed too, but I guess the thing didn't save correctly. Oh well, that's still part of the administrative stuff that we needed to talk to, right? So quiz 1, we're gonna redo it once again. We're gonna move it to next week. Questions are gonna come up. So hopefully the syllabus would have been fixed, or you've seen it on the video. And we're doing it because I don't want to screw up those who have extra time, because it's not like I already got him burned from it, but it's just, they send you a letter saying, hey, you need to do this. So I'm going to make sure I do it for everybody. Moving on. Module 1. Let's go. Module 1. The assignment. Here's important. Somebody asked me, how do I submit? Well, let me work on this. Listen, I've done this a few times, but every time I do it, I try to change up the assignment a little bit, just a little bit. And I quickly realized that we have an issue with Scientific Linux 7. Somebody already pointed it out in one of the classes. I already forgot which class it is, but somebody already tried to complete Scientific Linux 7.
Yeah.
Anybody here? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So Scientific Linux 7 has an issue. So guess what we're going to do today? We're going to do Scientific Linux 7 with the issue, but that's not how you're going to submit it. So I am going to be editing this with other changes. So if you're following this video, disclaimer, this is the way not to do it, because this is going to be a headache for you and it's going to be a headache for me. But having said that, this becomes a really good example for us to follow instructions. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
With this example, we're gonna do an example. We're gonna submit it. We're gonna set it up. We're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna work on it, and we're gonna submit it. We're gonna do the whole thing. Hopefully, it takes us 30 minutes, beginning to end, and let's go. Like I said, this is wrong. So we're not gonna go with it, but we're gonna pretend that this is going to be the way to do it. In order for us to move forward, we need a VM. I still get people asking me, how do you get the VMs? The VMs are part of FIU. The only software that you need to download is VNC, which you download from the website. It's free, and you will need to connect to one of these machines. So there's only one person that has access to these 3 websites other than myself. There's a student who's crazy enough to do this, and I say crazy meaning you're really in for a fun time. But yeah, let's go. If you see 1 class, that's great. If you see 2 classes, if you see 3, so if you're taking 2 classes with me or 3 classes with me, here's what I want you to do. Pick the first one. Work on the first one only, because it's the same assignment for all 3. So stick with the first one. So let's just stay with one, because otherwise it might have some confusion. So let's stay with number 1. First and foremost, did you guys notice there was a change on the website? Did you guys notice that? The website has changed in the last couple of days. It was the weekend, but I was working on it slightly, right? I had a wedding, but I was working on this. So let's see. Did you guys notice a couple of things changed?
All the extra information.
Yes.
Cool little icons, few things. Some of you were unable to see anything before, so I think that got fixed, right? So those using it for website construction, check this out. This is actually pretty cool. Yeah, we have a JavaScript there. Okay, I got to fix that. But more than that, check this one out. The website also works on dark mode. Look at that, how cool. So if your computer is on dark mode, you can still read it. That was important. You never know who uses dark mode nowadays. So should work on both. So website construction people, we will learn how to use light and dark mode. That's pretty cool. So the website changed. So first and foremost, let's boot up Scientific Linux 7. So here, deploy S1, Scientific Linux 7. So boom, there you go. Request sent. Starting a VM. Nothing really happens. I know. I still got a few things that we need to fix. But if you reload the page, this should come up. Everybody has a different set of information, right? So my IP, this is my IP. Mine, right? Like a little kid. Mine, not yours, mine. Why do I have to say it like that? Because some of you are muting me and you're just watching this video, and those who just mute me, well, you're gonna have a fun time, because this is not gonna work. Everyone should use their own IP, their own information. So let's start. This is the host. Let's see. Last time I believe I downloaded VNC, so let's work it out with VNC. So here we go. We're gonna put in the URL, CTS 4348 41101. That's my connection. Everyone should have a different number. We're gonna continue. Yes. Do we have a password? This is my password. You have a different password. And now we're gonna connect, right? So here we go. And oh, yeah, we don't need to. Maybe I should give VNC the right settings so that this works correctly. All right, well, I guess we took too long to enable it, but this is how it will come up. All right, so here's what's going to happen. The computer is booting up, right? So if I wanted to submit something, what do you guys think will happen if I try to submit the VM right now? Let's open that up for discussion while this actually does anything. What do you guys think is going to happen?
I don't think it's gonna let you submit because you haven't made any changes, right?
Sure. I mean, I can grade it. It's like printing the world's best essay with white ink on a white piece of paper. Can't read it, right? Nothing's going to happen. So right now, nothing is happening. And if I press submit, it tells me SL is not ready for submission. First of all, this is a new feature. Until I enable it, this doesn't happen. It means that What I want you to understand at this point is that we are going to go at a particular pace. You can't go faster than what I'm going. And if you go slower, well, don't go too slow because you eventually will need to catch up. Here's the thing. I will enable the VMs for submission as we go. So let's do it. And what I'm telling you that this is going to happen is because in the future, again, I have 3 classes, so it might be that we're going to have 5 VMs, but as we work through them, not all 5 VMs can be worked. You cannot submit the 5th VM if we haven't covered the material or the script for it is not 100% ready. So let's do the first thing. Let's enable SL7. What about that? Let's enable. Oh God, it's not. I don't have that piece of code in here with me. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. It's gotta be somewhere. Oh God. Okay. Let's see. Gotta do some adjustment here. What about show tables? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm working on a different screen while you know what? Let's bring that over here. 1 second. Let's see. So for the database people, this is exactly what you will do. What we're going to do for our class. Select everything from assignments. Yep, I know I'm in the wrong. I'm still not sharing that on the screen. Here we go. Select everything from assignments. Right. So we only have enabled C1 and F1. So we will need to do a few more. Oh, yep, actually, I got the syntax. Here we go. So we're going to insert into the database. We're going to insert. Let's enable S1. What just happened? What? Hold on a second. That did not go as expected. There you go. Cool. Perfect. All right. So here's what's going to happen. We have enabled it. So now at this point, those in website construction should be able to submit S1 almost, not yet, not quite yet. But now let's see. The message will change. If we haven't connected the VM, some of you have seen this message, cannot ping this IP. The reason why we're doing this a little bit slow, and forgive me, we're going too slow for you, is because we want to understand what is happening. So what do you guys think this message actually means? Can ping this IP?
But I think the network hasn't been set up yet.
All right, so there you go. That's one great way of putting it. So let's see. If I want to submit the VM, I need to make sure that I can reach it, right? Again, if I want to read what's on the world's greatest essay, it must be printed on black ink, even if it's wrong. But I need the right type of ink to read the machine. Okay. In my VM, I am going to change the name, right? So it says change the host name. This is my name. You need to put your name, right? You need to put your name in here, your username. This is, Rory001, your Panther, your username. On the network interface, you're going to configure the network with a manual IP. So let's go ahead and do this step by step. You're going to configure this with a manual IP and enter your IP. In this case, this is my IP. I apologize. I know most of you really get it, but trust me, there's a few of you who don't get it, and they need to be told that this is my IP, not your IP, because there's a huge difference. I feel like that Rush Hour movie, you remember? This is you, I'm talking to you, but their name was funny, like you and me. And do you guys remember that movie?
Jackie
Yeah, I remember
Chan.
that scene.
Yo, that Jackie Chan movie, just like that. It seemed chaotic at the time, but then you realize, yeah, some people get into that confusion and it happens. This is my IP, my netmask, my gateway. Believe it or not, we all share the same gateway. Either it's going to be, the third number is either going to be a 2 or a 1, and it's going to be spelled out in here. The DNS server is not listed here, but if you're watching this video, you're going to know that the DNS server is going to be 8.8.8.8.8. Once we save this and turn it on, we could potentially submit the assignment, but we're not going to do it, right? Because right now the machine is on the network. It's on the network. So we know we're one step closer. We're going to press done. We are going to go to the software. We're going to go to the hard drive. We're going to acknowledge that we're going to install the hard drive. We're going to go to the general software selection, and we are going to select, again, this is wrong. This has to be changed. So, but we're going to do it as if this was the right assignment. If this would have been the assignment, you would have come in here, left general purpose system, and then select MariaDB server. Press done. And if everything checks, we will continue with the installation, right? We're just following steps. If I'm not telling you to select anything, don't change anything else. There's no need to change anything. Click begin installation. In this version, Scientific Linux 7, which you're going to learn, has a password on the second screen. So here we're going to use our Panther ID. I'm actually going to enter my real Panther ID because when I press submit, it's going to read from a database my real ID and try to, grade me. And we're going to go through that. Now, notice it goes pretty fast because there's not that many of you with VMs active. So the more of you that are doing this, the slower the machine gets. So as a suggestion, once we start enabling this today, I will highly recommend that tomorrow you start chop, get on it. Let's go, move it. Let's start configuring one VM at a time. Take your time, but don't wait for all of them on Sunday. Let's not wait to do them because the system, it's not that it's going to crash, but it just goes slower because it just has to process. The IO gets kind of slow and everyone's trying to do the same thing. Okay, any questions up to this point?
When you say you're going to enable the machines or the VMs slowly today, slowly through the week, I'm just
no. Today we're gonna as soon as we're done with this, I'm gonna enable all assignment one. When I say slowly, I mean for the other assignments, because we might not get. I have to double check the scripts, and I might tell you what to do for the 5 assignments. But like this one has a bug because I thought in my head when I look at the menu and I was like, oh yeah, general purpose and MariaDB. I saw them, but I didn't test them. And as opposed to other people, and it's not a criticism or anything, it's just that I like to do things by hand and I like to test my work. So I'm not using a book, I'm not using anything. This is hands-on. And I thought, hey, that combination should work. Somebody pointed out, hey, professor, that's a weird screen. And when I was testing this during the weekend, I also realized, I think I messed up. And I thought it was a glitch. I had to do it like 3 times to double check that I did mess up, and I did mess up. So we're going to have to scrap this set of instructions and we're going to change them up, which is okay. No big deal. But, because of that thing, sometimes I don't enable them because I'm still testing something for you. That's what happens. But that might come up in the future where like you're probably thinking, hey, why is this VM not working? That's why. But for assignment 1, they're very easy to grade. I have everything ready to grade them. They will all be enabled for all classes today. That's it. So I will be asking one of you to submit the assignment, and we can all look at it together. So if you're ready to submit one of them, we can look at it. I'm not going to tell you if it's right or wrong, but we can definitely look into what you want to submit.
I can do it. I don't mind.
All right, but not yet. Let's go step by step, right?
Okay.
Something else. So other questions that have come up. I've seen other people ask, and I'm pretty sure most of you have already realized this. There's the class keeps fluctuating, 22 people, 20, 22. What happens if I were to change VMs, right? What will happen if I come back here and I redeploy another VM, right? Well, what happens there?
It gets destroyed, and you have to redo it again if you haven't submitted though.
That is correct. I don't save the VM. There's no saving. If you destroy the machine, you have to boot it up from scratch. Sometimes you need to do it. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, I picked the wrong checkbox. Well, you can hit this button. This is kind of like a redeploy option. We added this. This is new this semester, or rebuild, whatever. I wasn't sure what I what I call this button. Rebuild. If I hit rebuild, it's gonna turn it off and turn it back on. And you basically can start from scratch. So that's what that button does. Something that's gonna come up in the next couple of, probably tomorrow, you're gonna notice something else on the screen. You're gonna notice that when you click the button, a pop-up is gonna come up because I don't know, some of you have very creative descriptions of, how can I put this in very politically correct terms? Some of you have very interesting descriptions of how a series of events take place, if that makes any sense. For example, professor, I did the assignment right, but my cat walked all over my computer and somehow submitted my assignment. Okay. Okay. I could see that if you just click here, if you left the mouse here and somebody, accidentally tapped the mouse and click the button. But what's going to happen is that to prevent that, we're going to put two, like a pop-up that says, are you sure you want to submit? Yes. Are you sure you want to rebuild? Yes. Are you sure you want to change VMs? Yes. And when you change VMs, it's going to tell you, not only you're going to change VMs, but it will destroy your data. And you will have to acknowledge that. Why? So there's no discrepancies between what's happening with one machine or the transitions between one and the other. So that's coming, right? That's coming. So just kind of giving you a heads up. Are we clear with that? Or what happens between one deployment and the next one?
Yes.
Sweet. We're also going to notice that between submissions, there's going to be a grace period. So you are going to have to wait 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I know 5 minutes seems like a lot, but if I tell you have to wait 5 minutes, that's just a couple YouTube videos you're going to watch in between. And when you're done, you'll be back and you'll be ready to work on the next VM. Why do you have to wait 5 minutes? Because when I submit, I am going to go into your machine and grade. Some people ask, how do you do this? Like, how does this work? We're going to demystify that today. That's why I said last week, you can work on it as much as you want. You can play with them. You can do it, but don't stress yourself. No one's late. If you missed last week, if you're just joining, if you like to procrastinate, well, you're here at the right time, at the right place, because this is the right video. Last time we were showing the tools. This time we're really ready to get working. This is a long demo. See, we got to do a lot of talking because this takes its sweet time to install. Right? I'm going to pick a faster one because the problem with this one is that it has a user interface. And that's why the user interface makes this long. And there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you do have to install a server with a user interface. And yeah, it does take some time. But we'll try to do it much, much faster. Okay. What is something else that we're going to do? Yeah, I definitely should have picked a faster one, but the other VMs that I have I can't submit them for you because they're not attached to my account. So we'll wait. Any other questions up to this point? Anything else that you guys need me to answer?
Hi, Professor. You said the quiz was going to be pushed back, right?
I did say that. Yes, I did say that. I was going to try to fix it on the weekend, but I quickly realized if I would have done that, I would have broken those who have DRC requirements for extra time, right? Because I don't know how to set that up. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be 100% honest. I need help. So I didn't want to bother someone from FIU Online on their long weekend because we don't have too many of those. I didn't want to bother other people with that. So I figured, yeah, we'll wait until during the week, fix it up, and then next week we'll be done. Okay, it will be completely destroyed and it will be rebuilt with new dates.
Okay, got it.
Professor, so I saw the date was due today, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to attend this because I'm on call for my own job. And I kind of did the quiz yesterday, and I like some of the answers weren't right. When you blow it away and redo it, is it going to wipe that away too?
Correct. That's more or less what that means. We're gonna blow it away. It's gonna be as if it never
Beautiful.
happened. And
I
new
love it.
questions will come up and everything. So it should be the right stuff.
Awesome.
In
Thank
the
you.
last video, I promised that there will be questions about the video, and I had done them, and then they didn't come up because it was not configured correctly. Apparently, Canvas needs you to save 20 times before it actually takes place, which is very frustrating, but that's just the way it works. Wow, this is painful. You know, wasn't one of my suggestions last video, like, you know, set up the VM, let it run, go do something, come back, and you'll be done, right? I suggested that because it's very painful to watch this go one bit at a time. It's extremely painful. But so let's see. Let's start bringing up some other stuff here. Let's bring up a terminal. Eventually, here's another thing that's going to happen. I am going to need you to do, so if you want to start getting ahead of the game, this is something that you guys can work on. I need you to get familiar with Ocelot. How many of you have worked with Ocelot before?
I have.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Ocelot
me too.
is a Unix server managed by the School of Computer Science, and you connect using SSH, and everybody has an account in Ocelot, right? So Ocelot, aul.fiu.edu, that's usually the account, and then you will type in your email portion so to connect to FIU. You can use a terminal, you can use PuTTY, or you can use Google Chrome. Google Chrome has, let me see, Google Chrome has a plugin called Secure Shell, and I think I posted that on our, I posted that where? I posted that here on the modules, resources, just because we need to, we need to get something done while this happens, right? So let's talk about this. In Google Chrome, you can download this plugin. It's pretty cool. It is actually this little user interface, and you can say, I want a new connection, and you can put your username here, and then you can put your host name like ocelot.aul.fiu.edu, and then eventually you just say connect, and it's going to ask you for your password, right? Like it's just going to ask you for that. When you enter the password, it's usually like the first letter of your first name, your Panther ID, the first letter of your last name. There's instructions online on how to do it from the computer science website. And if you cannot get in, you definitely need support, and you need to contact computer science. Can't contact me because I don't work with this. I don't manage it, but we are going to use it. Why? Jesus Christ, this is going very slow. Why are we going to use it? Because we're going to connect to Ocelot, and we're going to connect. It usually asks you for your password. I don't have a password because I use something called SSH keys, which is very quickly what we're going to be using in assignment 2. Why do we need SSH keys? Because they're very secure. I don't, honestly, I will treat you all the same because all 3 classes make up what a full stack engineer is: making websites, managing databases, managing servers. If you want to do anything on the cloud, SSH keys are everything. So if you don't know how to connect with SSH keys, you will not be able to do assignments 2, assignment 3, assignment 4, and assignment 5. This is the very first thing and the most important thing for the next assignment, which is still something that all classes will share together. So we still have a couple more videos together, which means that you don't have to type in a password. It's going to be this very complex key. And we're going to be using Ocelot. Again, why Ocelot? Because Ocelot is going to be the key to jump from your machine to Ocelot, and then from Ocelot to your actual VM. The VMs in assignment 2 and moving forward, they don't have a user interface. You will never see a screen like this. What you're going to be working on, you're going to be working with like black and white, or a terminal with a different color, like this one. And then eventually you will SSH to the machine that you need. You can also check if the machine is on the network, right? So if you are on campus, or you happen to be connected to Ocelot, because everybody's different, right? Not everybody takes the class online, but goes to campus. If I am on campus or connected from Ocelot, I can check if I can see my machine on the network. 10.128.2.11. And I see that my machine is definitely on the network. So this is one way to think of looking at the answers on the back of the book, right? I can see this and say, well, listen, hey, this is working, right? Because my machine is on the network, right? My machine is definitely on the network. So I know that I did step one correctly. If I can reach my machine from the outside, I know that definitely works correctly. Jesus, this is still loading. It's not supposed to be this slow. It's slow, but okay. I think it finally changed. I think it's one of those that there you go. See, it stays there, but then it just pushes through very quickly. Oh, great. We're almost there.
Professor, you also said you can do SSH from VS Code, right?
Yes, there's a plugin for that. Atom was discontinued. Atom has a plugin for SSH as well. Whatever you want to use as for SSH, I'm okay with it as long as you can SSH to to the machines. That's fine.
Okay.
So you can use whatever you want. Same thing if you want to use VNC Viewer or you want to use screen sharing on a Mac. Both of them are fine because you just need to configure the machines here on campus. This is why we're not using this setup for Scientific Linux 7 because it's A, awfully long, and B, it does have a small step that I wasn't anticipating. Who is the one that said that they encountered this error before? I don't know if they left.
I mean, I have it still up right now after running after all this. After this point, it just runs a series of texts. It asks you to accept the license, and then it pops up the screen for you to confirm your location. And I still have it up right now, actually. And to create a login.
Right. So that's why we're not doing that because the other steps I don't want people to do them really. I don't want them to get confused. So yeah, it's running the post installation scripts like you said.
Yeah, it does the same screen as the beginning, like the language, typing, privacy. Oh, well, yeah, you're there.
So we're not going to do this, right? Like I said 10 times already, we're not going to do it, but we're still going to go through the process of what would it look like if we had done this as the assignment, right? So you would have followed the steps, which we did together. We're pushing through this very, 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 very slow process, but this is what I am trying to avoid. I don't want people to restart the machine, think that they're done, and then boom, what they're going to encounter is more installation steps. I don't want this. Because you're using a user interface, this is the one time you're going to have to accept these terms and conditions. You don't have to do that when you do it through the command line. I guess, sure, can no user be created? I guess no user needs to be created. So we can finish it. Let's see, is the network still working? Yes, I can still see myself on the network and the screen is there. So at this point, we're almost there. English, fine. English, privacy, next. Sure, default time zone, well, don't worry. Again, we're not doing this. So whatever we're doing is kind of it, right? So full name, sure, I'm gonna put my name, Herman Gomez. That's fine. Again, this account doesn't really matter because you do need a stronger password here. So you cannot use that Panther ID because it's gonna complain about it. Let's see if it lets me. No, doesn't. I'm gonna have to use something a little bit stronger. And once again, this is the reason why this is not gonna work for us. But assume that we did the whole thing and now we're ready to submit, right? Because this is part 3 of today's agenda. We did the demo, the VM is ready. So what on earth happens now? What happens now? We're done, right? We are done. So we closed the network. Obviously, this is the wrong way because everybody connects, and when they connect, they see a terminal. So let's see that. Let's pretend that we go to the terminal here. Again, this is not what we're doing because we're not going to use a user interface, but let's just pretend. Step one, if you did this correctly, does your computer have the right name? GGOME002. That's what mine should look like. Yours may say John Doe or Juan Lopez or Maria. Whatever your name is, it should say M, last name, digits. That's it. That's one of the requirements. Do we agree on it? Everybody should be able to self-check their own work by verifying the computer name. We're good there? Right? That's the
Yes.
host name piece.
Yeah.
All right, good. Next, it may not seem that obvious, but if you enter the IP information, you should be able to know if you're on the network. If you're on the network, you should be able to go out to Google and ping Google. So ping 8.8, 8.8.8.8. Okay, we can ping 8.8.8.8. So that means that we can go out to the internet. In addition to that, the internet can come to us, which is this screen. So from Ocelot, we can ping the machine. So that means that we're on the network. This is very important. If you're not on the network, I cannot grade you. How can I grade a machine that I cannot reach? And this is may seem like a silly concept, but some people always argue, I did the assignment correctly, and I believe you. Again, sometimes I've written the best essay, but I printed on white ink on a white piece of paper. And at the end of the day, that means nothing because nobody can read it. So unless your VM is on the network, I'm not going to be able to get to it. That's one part. The second part is the VM needs to have the right the right password, right? So here we go. If I want to connect to this VM from Ocelot, as an example, I can use SSH, and we're going to go into more details to what this looks like. I'm going to connect with this account, and I need the password, which is the Panther ID. If the Panther ID is wrong, or you enter something else, I'm not going to be able to grade it. Do we agree? So how am I going to get in? Right? How am I going to get integrated? So if you're able to SSH from the outside, then, or you're able to log in, right? Because sometimes, not in this view, but in the other one, it will tell you like log in, you enter root and then the password. If you cannot log in with your Panther ID, then I can't get in either. So you should know that if you tested this and you use something else that's not the Panther ID, I can grade you. Very important. I can grade you if I can get in. Okay, so let's just assume that we all then. Next step, the software selection. The software selection for this guy, yum history. This is a very important command. This command is going to tell us you don't have access to the yum history because you're not the root account. So in this case, let's go to root. See, this is the reason why we are not going to use this configuration, because we don't have the right setup. DNF history. Yum history. That's the right command. So yum history is why is this thing locked? Another app is doing something. Oh, I think the computer's trying to like self-update itself. This is definitely why we're not using this. But can I? Yes, let me try it. Let's kill the process. Let's see if we can get that number now. Nope, still not there. How can I show you this without giving anything away too much? It's on the other video, but let me log into a machine that makes sense. I'm gonna go into this machine called the grader machine. That's just easy. And let's become root. And let's try this. This is a machine that hosts all your submissions. Don't worry too much about it, but just concentrate on the command. Yum history. Yum history tells you everything that you've done in this machine. This machine is how many years old?
Here's what I found.
Thank you, Siri. I wasn't asking you, I was asking the class, but thanks for participating. This machine is 5 years old. This machine was created in 2017. And when it was installed with 297 packages. That is the package selection that I was used when I configured it. Each package selection for each assignment here has a different setup. I can't run the command right now because in the GUI is trying to do something. The GUI is trying to do something like, I don't know what is it doing? It's trying to find updates for the machine. And in the Yum history, it should tell you, I don't know, a number, 500. Right? And that number is what you're going to, it's what I'm going to check when you submit the assignment, right? That's what I'm going to be looking at. In this case, this is done incorrectly, right? Like this is not what we're going to, oh, there you go. See, 1,502 packages. That's the wrong number. Actually, no, hold on. That is the right number for this setup. For this setup, that is the right number, 1,502 packages. But as you saw, this setup takes way too long. Do we all agree on that?
Yes.
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 Okay, good. So this is not what we want, but this is the right number of what we are going to submit. Okay. What else do I need to check for this assignment? Nothing. Look, I have the IP information. We already checked. We already checked the host name. The software selection. If you did it right, this number should match. Maybe among yourselves, I'm not going to tell you what the right number is for the others. This is the right number for this setup, but we're going to scrap this one. Amongst yourself, you can see if everybody gets 1502, most likely everybody's right. And the password, that's it. That's all you have to do. If we're ready to submit, we are moving on to the next piece, right? Let's hypothetically do something. Let me change the password. I'm going to say here, passwd is a command to change the password. So let's just change the password. And I'm going to type in the password, password1. Password1. And I know it's going to be password1 because if I try to become root, I'm going to type in password1. So this is the wrong password. Why am I showing you a version with the wrong password? Because I want to submit the assignment, right? So let's see what happens behind the scenes. What truly happens behind the scenes when you submit. Let's do that demo. And I'm going to submit it, and then I can ask one of you to submit it. Let's see who's going to be the lucky one to show us what they got already. Here's what we're going to do. When you submit, I'm going to create a folder for this semester. It's going to be called Spring 2023. Actually, you know what? Let's remove it so we can start from scratch. So I'm going to remove this folder. And when we submit, a new folder is going to be created for me, for you, for everybody under 2023. So let's check. I'm going to submit the assignment right now. So I'm going to submit it. Boom. I'm scared because usually this is what live demos go wrong. Okay. S1 is undergoing submission. Please wait. Please wait. Important, right? Please wait. Let's see. So there's now Spring 2023. That's a good thing. So we're there. It created my username. Pretty cool. I'm going to go into my username. I'm going to see I'm going to have my stuff organized by assignment 1. So none of this is stored anywhere, not in Canvas, stored on my own information, right? What is inside of this file? This is your submission. What do we see here? When I give you your feedback, let's look at this feedback. What does this read? It reads the date when you submit it. I'm sorry, I think somebody else was going to answer. I wasn't. Sometimes people don't talk, so I'm just asking rhetorical questions. But go ahead. What else are you going to say? What were you going to say?
No, I thought you wanted an answer, but that's fine. Go ahead. Don't worry about it.
So we have the date, obviously, of when it was submitted. And so far, we know that the machine is on the network. But did we check anything inside the machine? Nope, because the password's wrong. So we couldn't grade anything because the password's wrong. All right, here's another thing. Let's try to grade it again. It says submission in progress. Please wait. This is important. When you submit, you're gonna have a 5-minute hold. And I wanted to show you this part of the video. 5-minute hold, submission in progress. Why do you need 5 minutes? Because if the script sometimes the script takes some time to fix, not to fix. Sometimes I need to check a lot of work, and 20 seconds is not enough. Sometimes we need time to properly grade. So I give myself 5-minute buffer. In those 5 minutes, you can't submit. You cannot change to another VM. You gotta give yourself 5 minutes. So in between all VMs, there's already gonna be a 25-minute gap. Right? Imagine that you do the first VM, submit. You can't do anything for 5 minutes. You can't. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
This is for your benefit, because if you start submitting this many times or you change VMs, if you submit something and I'm in the middle of grading and I'm like, oh, did he install the database? Did he configure this? And then all of a sudden the VM disappears in the middle of grading. Do you think you got full credit? How can I possibly grade something that disappeared halfway through it? It's kind of hard, right? So I gave myself, I've been learning this the hard way. So I figured that throughout the years that I've been doing this, I needed to give myself time between one event and the other. We all love instant gratification, but it's a homegrown system. It's not perfect. So I can give you 20 submits very quickly or change the VM fairly quickly. You gotta be a little patient. So at this point, we can't submit again, right? We can't do it. What are we gonna do? Let's fix the password, right? So let's try this again. Let's fix the password. So pass WD, I'm gonna enter the right password so we can test this correctly. That's the right password. I'm gonna get out, test it out, make sure everything looks good. Yes, that's the right password. Has it been 5 minutes? I hope so. Let's try. Let's submit it again. Submit. Submission still in progress, so not quite there yet. In the meanwhile, who wants to submit their assignment? Who thinks they got it right?
I think I have my CentOS ready though, but it's not enabled because you say you're gonna change the.
I can enable it.
Okay, go ahead.
I can enable them. So yeah, let's do that. Why don't we work on that right now? Let's enable a few of those VMs so that people can start working on it. So give me a second. I need to see this code. I need the right stuff for this to work. So SSH Ocelot. Let me log into the database. Let's enable. No, we don't need to create a table. Oh, why did we do that? We did that here in this one. So let's see. We're going to. For what class are you in?
Website construction.
Okay, website construction, CGS. Okay, and what VM are you going to submit? CentOS?
CentOS.
Okay, so CentOS should be enabled, but I need to do one more piece. So bear with me 1 second because I have a constraint that only my username can submit. So wait, I need to change one more thing. I know, I'm probably sure if you're watching this for the second time, this video, you can probably just, again, if you're taking notes, you know when to fast forward to minute 1 hour, and then you're going to see the answers. Like this is where taking notes really helps. And it's going to help you from the first VM all the way to the last VM, because the last video, because this is, yeah, there's going to be some downtime in some of the videos. So I apologize, but that's just how that works. Okay, almost there. Let's see here, it should be all the way down here. Click, save. And all right, let me try it first. Let's see if I can submit now. Submit, request sent. Undergoing submission, so I'm still on the wait, but What about you? What about try to submit? Let me see what you get.
Sure.
Oh, Jake CABR 180. Is that yours?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what you got. So you have assignment 1. Okay, so we know that you submitted assignment 1. And in here, do you mind if I open this in front of everybody? I'm just
Yeah, that's
making
fine. Go
sure-
ahead.
Cover my legal aspect, right? Make sure I get permission before we disclose your stuff. All right. Well, seems like we're on the same boat.
Yes, sir.
What happened? Do you not have the right password on your
I
VM?
do. I do have the right password because I'm actually logged in, so I'm not sure
Hmm,
something else is going on there.
let's see. Submission in progress. Please wait. Okay, so you already submitted the second time. Let me go back to mine. Let me see what we have here. So I'm gonna go back to my machine. You can submit more than once. So obviously, if you made a mistake or you think something happened, let's check it out. So here's I'm gonna look into my file. I noticed the second time around, here is what we encounter. It connected, right? So there's a second timestamp. So we know that the first submission took place at 10. I guess the time here in this machine is kind of wrong, but 10:18, which is not 10:18.
You think
10:18,
the
and then this one's 10:28. And in the second time, he figured, hey, the machine is pingable. And then he found out, hey, this is Scientific Linux 7. I am going to check for what? The host name, right? Because every machine needs a host name. So remember what we check manually? I am going to double check the same stuff. I'm going to look, did the student gave the machine the right IP? Yes or no, right? There it is. Does the student gave the machine the right name? Yes or no? If I was unable to connect, then the machine has the wrong password. And if I'm able to see the history, then depending on the machine that you're configuring, the number will vary. This is how I'm going to grade the VMs, right? Obviously, if we go back, you won't be able to submit again for 5 minutes, but
I was gonna
let's
ask
see.
you a question. You think the 5 minutes was still going on? Because I know you checked it right away, but I don't know if the script was still running.
So the IP is supposed to be 10.128.2.51. All right, so let me see. I know your Panther IDs. I know everybody's Panther IDs.
Actually, my IP is showing different on the screen right here. It's showing 10.128.2.52.
2.52.
Mhm.
That shouldn't be the case. It should be 2.51.
And I can share my screen if you want me to. But
No, I did hear, I saw somebody else message like that, so I'm gonna look into it, but did you, but hold on, this IP is on the network. Did you configure with 52 or 51?
52.
That could be why it's not doing it. But then somebody else is using 51 because 51 is on the net. According to this, 51 is reachable.
Yeah, but that's not me.
Shoot. All right. Well, see, why don't we do this? Before we turn this on for everybody, let me take a quick look. When we're done with the video, stay on for a few minutes and then let's work it out, you and I. Let's share your screen and we can see maybe there's something else that's happening. But overall, the process is exactly as we've shown, right? You go, you configure it, you use the IP that's here. That IP usually matches information that's in another table that I have. That information that's in another table where I'm going to know that this is you. This is how I know that this is your machine.
Can you pin 52 there too? I know I can pin. Yeah.
Yeah, 52 is also on the network, which could be. I just need to know why is that glitch? Why is that glitch happening? If there's a glitch, but as you noticed, when I did mine, it went through correctly. So I don't know if there's what else could be happening, but we'll look into it. You know, it's again the submission, the script, everything is there. Scientific Linux 7 needs a little bit of a revamp because this configuration of settings is just awfully long. It's not going to work. So we're gonna change the base environment to something faster, and we're gonna change the add-on to something else. The number will not be 1,502. It will be something much smaller, and people will be able to submit. You can submit more than once. Once you submit, the idea is that the VM it's going to have this information. See how it says the last time you submitted. So you're going to be able to know when did you submit your machine. That's what's going to happen. That's going to be key for everybody. There's a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Professor, I do have a question. So tomorrow when I'm working on the VMs, let's say that I'm working at 9 o'clock in the morning and I do the first VM, I submit, I wait for the 5 minutes. Is that gonna get recorded automatically in your database, or once I open the other VM, the first one is gonna get deleted?
You know how you know it got recorded? If this number starts to show up. You see how they all have a not available? That means that I don't know when was the last time that you submitted it. So this time it says it was submitted at 10:22. The clock is wrong. I gotta figure out what's going on with the clock. It's this machine has the wrong clock. So this one needs to be updated, but I will fix that one too. That one's easy to fix. The clock should be the date that you submitted. It's been more than 5 minutes. So if I were to resubmit this again, right, it's going to say submission in progress. Oh, it's undergoing submission. So it hasn't been 5 minutes since, well, I mean, technically it has been 5 minutes since that. Let's go back, go to my user, assignment 1, S1. So it's, oh, see, it submitted again at 31. So if I reload the page, it should show me that the last one, 229, the clock is out of whack. I'm sorry, I gotta fix this, but the clock is out of whack. But even if the clock is out of whack and it's giving us the wrong reading, you're gonna see that the numbers are gonna increase, right? This is gonna tell you the last time that you submitted it. And that's how you're gonna know. For now, I was thinking of adding in another class, it became a little bit of an issue. So we added like a paper trail every time you submit, which is in a database that I have, and I can tell you, hey, John Doe submitted S1 10 times, and these are all the dates and time that when he did it, and every other VM when they got submitted. So all that information is kept on my end. I know it. But for now, this is how it should work end to end. Are there fireworks that are going to happen when you're done? No, it's just a button. You can do it. You can even submit from your phone, right? The website should load on your phone. You can click the button on your phone and you can submit. That's not a big deal. But this is the kind of feedback that I'm going to receive that matches the work that you did. So you're going to put in the work, and we're going to check the host names. We're going to check the installation. We're going to make sure that the passwords are right? Make sure that everything is correct. And we are going to move forward with that.
I do have one question. When you were setting up SL7, it said the password had to be 8 digits. Panther ID is 7. So did I miss something on that?
Here, see that in SL7, there's a user interface, right? This is wrong. So we're not going to use this setup. When you set up the password the first time, it can be your Panther ID. It should be the Panther ID for all of them, and it works. But in this combination, this is not going to work for us. So that's why I'm going to scrap it, and I'm going to update the requirements. So anybody that's done SL7, they're going to have to redo it, which is going to be faster and better. And that's why I like to do my own assignments, because if I come up with a crazy idea, I need to test it myself, right? I can't expect you to do something that I haven't done myself. So I quickly realized that this wasn't the right combination. So we're going to scrap it. I'm going to update that later today, because as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to pick another set, let it run, make sure it works, and then go back to the assignments and make an edit to the document. The documents may change, which it's fine, right? We all make mistakes. It's to your advantage that I fix it, so it's easier and you guys don't go crazy trying to find it out what it is. So this is just going to work to your benefit. Make sure that everything is done correctly. So it's definitely been an hour. Any questions, comments, anything else that you guys have? Because I am going to fix it, right? Jarvis,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna stay here for a bit. We're gonna try to figure out what happened with that number. Why did the number go up?
Okay.
So stay here after everybody's gone. I will work with you. That's why I wanted to do this earlier at 9, because I figure there'll be some work ahead of me. So I went for my nightly run. I came home early. I had already my meal. I am ready for my second shift, basically. And anything else that I can answer for you guys. I'm not gonna turn it on for everybody because now it's gonna be crazy, right? We're not gonna don't start submitting them because let's just wait. Give me a second. I only enable it for website construction, kind of in a controlled environment, right? Let's make sure we understand what happened with Jarvis. And maybe because if this is a glitch with other people, I want to know if it's potentially going to break something for somebody else. Because the last thing I want is for somebody to submit and then it doesn't get properly recorded, right? Because that would be bad.
I had a general course structure question.
Go ahead.
So when the assignments are provided to us like every Monday or whenever they are, would it be a good idea to wait until the Tuesday lecture to have some basic information about them and how to approach them?
Let's put it this way. If the assignment is published, right, it wouldn't do you any bad to go read it, right? And then you can figure out how much it makes sense for you, right? Like if we look into this and we go back into assignment 1 and you can go over and you can say, okay, well, fine. We're working with these 5 VMs, which are all going to be the same 5 VMs always. You're going to work with a CentOS, a Fedora, a Scientific VMs. So you understand, you're going to know the point distribution. So you're going to say, okay, perfect. Maybe in this assignment, CentOS weights more than the others. It gives you some contextual clues. I don't know what class you're in, but maybe in this one you can see, oh, in here we're going to add users, and in this one we're going to delete users. You may not necessarily know the commands or the depth of what's happening, but coming in with an idea what you're expecting already helps, because then you're not completely lost. Am I going to fill in the blanks? Most definitely. I will fill in the blanks. So I'm not going to write the whole thing. I will go through the lecture and I will explain it. And we will go like the real punchline of the assignment is here. The rest, I'm going to demo some of it. We're going to show you how to verify what you've done is correct. And then you submit. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like when I grade it. So definitely, the videos are definitely going to help out a lot more, but it doesn't hurt to look into it. Eventually by assignment 4, you're already going to know how I operate. You're going to come in here and say, oh, yeah, he's done this before. He wants me to do this and this and that, and that's it. And then you almost could start on the assignment without me.
All right, thank you very much.
So that's kind of how it works. Since my stuff usually doesn't show up on the internet, I mean, it does. There's websites that do very similar stuff, but it's kind of rare to find everything that I do online. Then just wait for the videos and do them as we go, right? Because on a Tuesday, I will explain everything about Fedora and we're done. And then the Thursday, I will go Scientific Linux 7. And the next week, I will go finish the other ones. So as we go, then you can start tackling them all, one at a time. So you don't have to wait until the last day to submit all of them. The idea is that you should be able to get going with the first one on the first lecture for that assignment to kind of fully answer your question, I think. Anyone else? No? Well, seems like we're already dropping people and I can totally get it. If there's nothing else, then guys, thank you for joining. This makes it a lot more fun when people are here because they can ask the questions and we can go through it together. Otherwise, it would have been very, very boring just to watch the screen load. We don't need a user interface, so we're not going to see this again. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but nah, we're not going to do it. So we're going to kill this VM and we're going to pick something else. If you work with the VMs, well, you might have to redo something. You might have to figure it out. Let's get through it. The only way to learn this is by getting your hands dirty. So let's get going. Once I figure out what's going on, I will message you. So stay tuned with Teams. I think that's the best way to get the communication going. So hopefully everyone's on board with that. A lot of people got at it. So I think the Teams channels are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I see people, let's see, in the database class, there's 58. In this class, there's 15 in Unix. And website construction, this is the class that has the least people join. I think they didn't get the message correctly, but 11. So yeah, we'll do that. Does that make sense?
Everything makes sense.
Yep.
Awesome.